It is the prolonged absence of honest elections that led inexorably to the mass poverty and gross underdevelopment we have in the country today. Because if the people had been exercising the power of honest vote since 1960, when we had independence till date, Nigeria in 2025 would have developed into a first world nation by all standards and in all ramifications. We would have been like Europe. The problem we have is that since independence, almost 90 to 95% of the elections have been outright stolen or rigged or perverted or thwarted or nullified. And that means that Nigerians have never really voluntarily chosen their leaders. Neither have Nigerians ever been governed with their consent. Absence of honest elections makes our democracy a fake democracy, period. In Nigeria, the simple and painful reason why elections have been rigged all the time is that those people who have been vested with the power of appointing the electoral officers have by themselves been contestants, either by themselves or their political parties or their preferred candidates. They have been contestants in the same elections in which they appointed those who are conducting the elections. And so permit me to inform you that although it is very, very important to make bimodal voter accreditation system and electronic transmission of results via IREV all legally mandatory in the conduct of our elections in Nigeria. But I'm sorry to disappoint you that BVAS and IREV cannot solve the problem of electoral rigging in Nigeria without the neutrality and impartiality of the electoral bodies. Because those systems are vulnerable to manipulation. All those who direct, plan, superintend election rigging in Nigeria are the top leadership of the electoral bodies, who working with the politicians, work aggressively to skew the elections in favor of the persons and the political parties under whose auspices they were appointed, and who stuck in their visceral determination and unshakable resolve to steal elections in favor of their masters, will bring to bear on their quest this particular information I just gave, that these systems, the IREB, BVAS, are susceptible to manipulation, and that they can even manufacture logistical problems, infrastructural and logistical problems, particularly internet connectivity and power supply disruptions, and then turn around and take benefit of those failures. That they can manipulate the back-end data. They can do that. And that they can engineer system dysfunction and malfunction and exploit the resulting glitches. Or that they can even decide not to transmit the elections, whatever you say in the law, because it's always a do or die game for them. That they can decide not to transmit the result electronically or delay it until it is useless. All the point we're making is that BVAS and IREB cannot help much with election integrity without the integrity of the electoral bodies. And you and I know that the existing electoral bodies today in Nigeria, at the federal, at the state levels, they are not working for honest elections. They are rigging elections in collusion with us politicians for the benefit of those who appointed them. And therefore, the only way to ensure impartial, neutral, honest, transparent, free and fair conduct of elections in Nigeria is to devise a means by which the electoral personnel, these electoral bodies and personnel, by which they are appointed independently of us politicians, especially the president and the governors. I'll say it again, that we must find a way to make sure that the president and the governors do not influence or direct the appointment of electoral officers. And so, in order to usher in the era of honest, transparent, free and fair elections nationwide under one independent, neutral, and unbiased electoral body, being inescapably the necessary and the only means we can lift Nigeria and our people, our brothers and sisters, out of poverty, and the only means with which we can reach the potentialities of God's endowment upon us, including taking our pride of place in the league of great and egalitarian nations, I do move a motion for constitutional amendment to provide for the establishment of a new, truly and literally independent National Electoral Commission charged with the conduct of all elections and for all elected offices. And that the new INEC be composed and constituted by 13 commissioners. 6 of the commissioners will be elected by the underlisted 6 Nigerian labor and professional organizations, and 6 commissioners will be nominated by the United Nations from across the world, and 1 commissioner observer will be nominated by Transparency International. That, I propose, will be our new INEC, for the first time appointed without the influence of us politicians. Of course, the new INEC will have the power to hire, to elect, and to remove their chairman, and to hire and fire all staff, including the chief executive officer. The election of 6 commissioners by the underlisted 6 Nigerian labor and professional organizations is arranged on a concurrent, corresponding alphabetical order. That is to say that the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Polytechnics will elect 1 commissioner out of its members from the Northeast geopolitical zone. And the Academic Staff Union of Universities will elect 1 commissioner out of its members from the North Central geopolitical zone. That the Institute of Chartered Accountants will elect 1 commissioner out of its members from the Northwest geopolitical zone. That the Nigeria Bar Association will elect 1 commissioner out of its members from the Southeast geopolitical zone. That the Nigerian Medical Association will elect 1 commissioner out of its members from the Southwest geopolitical zone. That the Nigerian Union of Journalists will elect 1 commissioner out of its members from the South-South geopolitical zone. Politicians and those who have held political offices will not be qualified to be elected to serve in the new INEC. And the United Nations and Transparency International will not nominate a Nigerian or any person indigenous to Nigeria. Their own nominations will come from their staff. And it will be the responsibility of the president at the appropriate time to receive and collect the names and curriculum vitae of the nominees and nominees-elect for transmission to the National Assembly for confirmation. No commissioner-elect or nominated may be rejected except with the concurrent resolutions of the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Representatives, by resolutions supported by at least 2/3 majorities of the Senate, all senators, and 2/3 majorities of all honorable members of House of Representatives, and all voting in person in a secret ballot televised in real time. And for the purposes of this exercise, voice vote will not be lawful. I must hasten to add that the establishment of the new INEC will not impede or be a setback to the strides made in the devolution of powers to the state government, because in this instance, power has been taken from the governor on regarding appointments of electoral bodies in the state, and from the president regarding electoral bodies covering other elections, and vested in a neutral body in order to trigger processes in motion for lifting Nigeria out of poverty. Let me clarify immediately that nominations by the United Nations and Transparency International will not in any way violate our sovereignty, because it is Nigeria as the sovereign nation that will make that request to the United Nations. It's Nigeria as a sovereign nation will make that request to the Transparency International. And United Nations and Transparency International would gladly accede to our request, because like all other development institutions and people of goodwill around the world, they rightly regard stealing of elections and rigging of elections as the worst and most destructive corrupt practice. And the United Nations has been undertaking anti-corruption programs and agencies in various countries with which it reaches agreement, like El Salvador, like Guatemala. And just the other day, the president of Honduras, Xiomara Castro, dispatched a letter to the United Nations pleading with the United Nations to come to the country to establish, man and run an international commission against corruption and impunity. And they've already signed the agreement. They are now in the implementation phase. So they'll gladly make these nominations And they have a vast pool of bureaucrats, of public servants, of anti-corruption experts that they can choose from all over the world, including Africa, in Middle East, in Asia, in the Americas, the Greater Europe, Caribbean nations. They can choose from anywhere because they would love to be part of this liberating effort of Nigeria to emancipate the people out of poverty. I've taken the liberty of preparing the draft bill for the amendment of the Constitution to provide for the establishment of the new INEC. And I'll be making that public, after which it will be submitted to the National Assembly for consideration. So in conclusion, I will urge all of us to remember always that a supermajority of our people, our brothers and sisters, have for far too long been hijacked, kidnapped, and they're buffeted with hunger, disease, illiteracy, squalor and slum dwelling, unemployment and insecurity, all because of misgovernance principally made possible by stolen elections and rigging of elections and governing without the consent of the people. And so I will ask that all of us should stand up, or everybody in the country should stand up, so we join our hands with our sweat in shooting down these maladies with the strongest arrow in our archery and with that golden bullet of ours, namely honest elections. And thereon shall we march triumphantly into the outstretched hands of prosperity and prosperity. God bless Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you.
The police, Nigerian police is so bad that car thieves can steal police cars in this country. They didn't steal it from the DPOs or they stole from the force headquarters. It is unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. The last time something ridiculous like that happened with the Nigerian police was when the police in Kwara State also arrested a goat for armed robbery. That's the last time something that ridiculous ever came out of Nigeria. But it must break your heart. It sounds funny that car thieves can go to the Nigerian police force headquarters and take a patrol car, one of their best, and drive it away. And as we are speaking, they are still looking for it. We are not talking about a Nidu. We are talking about a Toyota Buffalo truck, one of the best in the world. What it tells you is that we don't have people who are competent to even do simple things. Because there's no way a patrol car should not have a tracking device. Not only will the tracking device be there, the tracking device should be able to disable the car in motion from whatever location they are. But the reason they don't put tracking devices on these vehicles is that they don't use them for policing. Yes. So that's where we are. But we also offer our lawyers an opportunity to quickly speak about this. It's going to be a busy week, you know. So, and I'm sure this is not going to be the last. They are planning other things, including extreme activities. There have been threats against my life, by the way, recently, over what you guys know has been happening in the FCT. I love to call the FCT the Federal Capital of Thieves. But they did it to validate my position that I appointed a thief to lead the FCT as a minister. So that the whole portfolio is complete. So a lot of threats have been coming our way, but you know, I want to say something that might sound a little bit like a cliche, you know, but it's the truth. If it will take some of our lives to wake people up in this country, we gladly contribute it to you. If that's what it needs, if our blood is what is needed so that they can sanitize this land, I will give it. So That's the reason why I can get out next month. And without regards to all the threats, some of them are even specific. This is where you should not pass. I'll pass the place. Because maybe something needs to happen for everybody to wake up and for them to get Nigeria to where it should be. The word "end" is popular now. So, thank you very much.
Uganda, go take stop him. Uganda, what I won't do my own work.
They enter.
I think the same applies to me. Disclosure of any offense. This is the charge.
Okay, you push me.
Then the most important thing that which was to serve me, they refused to serve me. They were hoping that they come and ambush me. They did not want to serve me because they are afraid that I will be prepared to die. But I decided to come because even cases that are not concerned me, they come to this court to attend to them. So, what is important, Nigerians, is that our focus on how to fix this country is our inalienable right. In the process of doing that, we will not spare anybody. Because we are 200 million people and we deserve good governance, we deserve attention, we deserve accountability, transparency, we deserve the basic minimum standards of government and tenets, all of which is freedom of speech. You cannot litigate against us in any court or criminalize it. Even the man who drunkard in the nice of wicked, who said an American has never called Trump a criminal, was presented with over 1,000 videos. The DSS claims that it's their job to protect the president. It's their job to protect him, but it's not their job to police free speech in Nigeria. The DSS takes its inspiration from the Secret Service, which exclusively protects the president. The Secret Service has never filed a lawsuit against an American who said Trump is this or that, because they use America. But let's even concede that is not used in America. We can do it. Because Americans don't have that type of problems. Americans they have great jobs, there's no unemployment. So Americans can decide to we have gotten to where America was in 1900. All circumstances are different. And we must approach it with the tenacity and the ferocity that is required. So that those who claim to be our leaders, whether they rig themselves into office or they seize power, we want them to attack. And I'm saying this that even under the military, when the military will seize power through martial music, we confronted them. Even though we didn't appoint elections, how much more? The so-called civilians who supposedly were elected by the constitution that is no wrong. Even though I don't believe in that constitution. That's all they have. So I just want to make it very clear, and it's very important for all of you, particularly that no offense is committed, and the trial will not continue today because there's no way the prosecution can defend that. Basically, the reason why he came, he did not know that I've not been served. Because I think he was arrested and burned here. Because I found out in the initial charge that they published refused to sign up on charges. He was not consulted. But the DSS had to force him to come here. They know me representing Nigeria. Face me. So they are going to DPP must learn the hard way.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
Yes.
Away from this wrong consensus now.
Yeah.
Let's go into the death of the Alliance correspondent yesterday.
Yes.
And we heard that the police will actually be reached out to. What's your reaction you take to that?
I reacted last night. Let me send my condolences and our co-workers. I knew, even without having been told, she's a victim of Nigeria. Nigeria happened to her. I was reading on my way here, I was not confined. They robbed every flat that they called the police did not show up until after she had jumped out of her window, gotten injured, and had no emergency. She was found alive by the police, but when she was taken to the hospital, the police said they had been fuel in their car. Maybe, if the police had not allowed their car to be stolen by a thief, maybe that car would have helped her against the police. Who knows?
That's true.
So there's a fundamental problem here. We are in trouble. And how tragedy is just symptomatic of that. But I feel so bad for her. I feel bad for her. And today, maybe I will visit her family. That has been. So, again, my condolences. But Nigeria has been doing people dirty everywhere. And our own case came to the surface because she's a member of the elite class. As we are speaking, they are killing people in droves in quarantine. This one's not even here from the police. They have been left to their people of Zamfara left to their fate. People of Katsina left to their fate. Katsina left to their fate. Benue left to their fate. Kidnappers are riding roughshod. Because, again, the leaders have no interest in trivial things and substance. The people that should be excluded by the DPP are the people who are engaging in randomness and terrorism. But the DPP will probably one of the people meeting with them in the bar and taking selfies with them. That's what they do with bandits. If I were to be a dangerous, terroristic person, they will come and negotiate with me. They won't bring me to court. Thank you.
Go back to
No, the law is clear. The law said that for you to arrest somebody, the person must serve the person in the charge for 10 days, and the person has to do this. That is it. Then on the constitution is important to say, at the time, secondly, and we almost have to advise that because you have arranged the franchise to get to the city because it's all the name. I've forgotten all Jonathan name. This is the time of we get Jonathan I'm highly disappointed. I don't know what is please, as a matter of business, continue this charge and face what is facing you. This is a distraction, and you cannot distract us. We are following you. We must criticize you. Go to the villages and see how people are helping you. The other disaster that died, what is said president. He died and Nigerians were jubilated. We're talking about President Mohammed Tinubu. Nigerians were jubilated. How should you remember that you asked DPP to come and prosecute the former charge against Shuhu? Mr. President, why did you go for civil litigation? Why did you file action for information and claim millions? You sue under 7 minutes. The point you are making is that this cabinet withdraw these charges and you separate the money.
I just want to correct one quick thing. You said you are following it, I'm not following it.
And I said, I'm following this.
I am not following his policies, I don't follow his footsteps.
Go outside and lie. You challenge it.
The other part is that two things. If this charge proceeds after arraignment, the president will be willing to come as my witness. Yes, I'm not going to use God as my witness. I want to use him as my witness. That my statements are correct. Even if you go to civil route, truth is justification. I will justify everything I say about anybody who is in position of authority in Nigeria. I've been around long enough to be able to say this confidently. So guys, thank you so much. You see, I have 2 other pending cases. How far now?